Okay, this is July 3rd, 2021 here in Kitchener, Ontario, Zone 5. And in this video I want to talk about my squash plants, my squash zucchini. I don't have any melons, I don't have any cucumbers, but I do have some squash and zucchini. So we'll start with this one. This one is, we're actually starting on a failure here. This is supposed to be Starship. It's supposed to be a kind of a green patty pan summer squash. And the only thing growing in this container you can see is this a few of these spurge weeds, quite an aggravating weed. I really hate that one. So this was seeded a while ago and nothing's come up, so I'm going to need to reseed that. In fact, I believe I'm on my second reseeding now, so I might have a bad batch of seeds there, but I'm going to hit this one again. I think there's still time left in the season to get something started here. We're just at the end, but I think we can get some zucchini going. And this is a small container anyway. My expectation is maybe one fruit from these containers. I have a few, I didn't really know what I was going to do with these containers. They're kind of good. They've got a bit of a reservoir at the bottom. That's like a dollar store container. It's not the best, but I think I can get one small zucchini out of this. I've seen some videos on YouTube of people growing successfully, getting fruit from even smaller containers. So if I can get something to grow in this container, then we might have a success. Coming over here, I'm sad to report, same story. So this should be some kind of just a yellow zucchini. And again, I think we're on our second seeding here and nothing's come up, so maybe bad seeds. But I'll try again. We're running out of time, but there is a little bit of time left for zucchini. Okay, so two failed container zucchini here in the container arrangement. Let's come over here to something a little more successful. Here we have a mystery squash, and so this just volunteered here. I've allowed some of the volunteers. I had to pull out and throw away a ton of volunteer squash because they were just not in good spots, but a few of them I decided to risk it, chance it. So this one's kind of crowding out. There's a Brussels sprout here. Unfortunately, this Brussels sprout seems to have, something's gone wrong with it, or maybe not. Maybe it's grown past it. There seems to be, yeah, there's now healthy growth at the top, but it hit a hiccup there. You see there's like deformity. Something went wrong with that plant. So there's a Brussels sprout there. There's a cabbage here, Calabos cabbage. There's an artichoke in the back here. So this is a crowded little section of the bed, but I decided to be charitable and let this squash grow up. And my guess is that it's a harlequin or an acorn squash because that's what I've had volunteer in the past. So, and look at all those flowers about to come forth. So there is a nice successful, not one I seeded. I allowed the volunteer, and I've given it a bit of a cage and a post here, and I'll try and get it up vertical and out of the way of these brassicas and that artichoke, which is flowering, and something is devouring these leaves. So I don't know, the artichokes are in shabby state, but we've got this video is about the squash, and we've got a very nice, happy, mystery, probably acorn or maybe harlequin squash here. If we come around this side of the bed, we've got a couple other volunteers. So I've got these sections between my, the tomato cage doesn't quite fill the bed all the way. So I have these little strips, and in this little strip, this squash is volunteered, so maybe something will come of that. Similarly over here, just kind of hanging off the corner of this strip, is some kind of volunteer. Again, I'm going to assume those are acorn or harlequin squash because that's what has volunteered in the past. So a couple squash volunteering in this bed. If we come around now, I know I've got others. Well, we'll talk about the ones I've actually planted. So here we have white scallop. Again, in a previous video I talked about how this was the blue section. All my containers, I was doing some work in here, so I got an ugly bucket and the setup's all messed up, but I was talking about in an earlier video how this is the blue section. I don't have any terracotta pots in here, and so in this turquoise pot I've got this white scallop zucchini, which I think that's going to be like a white patty pan summer squash, and so it'll be white and it'll match the blue white color scheme in here, so I think that might be cool. And anyway, we've got a plant here, so it's on its way. Similarly, and again, these are these kind of small, they might be 3 gallons. That's smaller than recommended for squash, but Maybe for a zucchini to just get one fruit at a time off, maybe that'll work. So here we've got Fiorentino. It's a zucchini. It's like a variegated, kind of ridged, cool-looking heirloom, Italian heirloom, or maybe Sicilian heirloom zucchini. So Fiorentino zucchini here. I've also got a bean, some kind of bean. That might be a bush bean, or I don't know what that is. I didn't label the beans, but I did put a bean in with the squash and a kind of nod to the Three Sisters kind of guild planting. And there's also some creeping thyme growing up in this container. I had mulched these containers in. Now I've got a big bed over here of creeping thyme, kind of fills in all back in behind there, you can see. And I had cut a whole bunch of that, and it makes a nice uniform mulch. So I had mulched both these containers with the creeping thyme, and actually this one decided to root. So here we go. We've got also a companion planting of creeping thyme. So we've got a guild of some kind of bean. I don't know what kind of bean. Creeping thyme and a Fiorentino zucchini. I think those are, so for the containers, that's it. Now if we come over into the bed here we've got another mystery squash. This was a transplanted mystery squash. It's tough to transplant squash. Oh, this leaf is getting pinched. Can we rescue it without destroying it? Very carefully. I think I did destroy it, but maybe it'll recover. Okay, this is probably, again, an acorn or a harlequin squash. This was a transplant. It was a rescue. Look how happy. Right? Big, happy, healthy. It totally made it. It likes this spot. It's being overgrown by the plant above it, but which we won't talk about. But yeah, good squash here. And I've got another one of those. If I come around over to this side, we've got a volunteer, mystery volunteer, transplanted, survived the transplant, and it's got flowers coming up. So, yay. Mystery transplant squash. We'll see what we get. And another one here, mystery volunteer. I don't know if this was a transplant or not, but kind of hanging off, taking up this space here, kind of competing a little with that guy or that lady, but sort of growing out of the side of this hugel mound here. Might end up competing with that one. I'm going to expect it to. I'm going to try and get it to cascade down through here, and I'm going to let that one, hopefully, it's kind of, you can see it's constrained by the cage here, but I want it to kind of cascade over the side of the bed here. So we've got some volunteers there. As we come around to this side of the bed, this was deliberately planted. He's kind of smothered here. So there's a squash leaf. There's a squash leaf. So this guy's a little bit smothered. I'm going to need to clean him up because he's got all kinds of, this is catmint, this is, there's a Swiss chard here, there's Jerusalem artichoke smothering this squash, but if I can peek back in there, that's a Sebring, so that's going to be a yellow zucchini. And over here, this should have been in here, in this cage, surrounded by this now dying pea plant. And there's actually a living pea back here, and I wonder if there's any peas on that. There might be peas on that. So that's probably going to be my last piece of it. But anyway, in here, another failure. There was a zucchini. What is the kind? Yeah, a dark green zucchini this was going to be. And something snipped it off at the base. So I'll need to replant that. And then I think last thing over here we've got, yeah, right in here we've got this guy, which I seeded, and this is a white bush, again, zucchini, summer squash. So that's just like a white zucchini. And oh, there's a pea. That's big enough to enjoy. I'll take that right now. Okay, so I think that's it for the squash plants. A lot of volunteers, a lot of mystery. Oh, this is not it for the squash plants. Okay, back here. So we got a couple volunteers. This one here, look at that, it's alive. I transplanted that a couple days ago. That was volunteering somewhere else, and I thought, I pulled it and it looked like it had good roots on it. I was like, okay, quick, emergency, stick it somewhere. So there it is. Got another squash volunteer. Great. I had tried to seed a delicata squash in here, nothing came up. I'll have to redo that. Here is a great big happy giant mystery guy. So again, I think I'm going to be swimming in volunteer acorn or harlequin squashes, and a couple of zucchinis that I deliberately chose to put in. So anyway, I think that's the squash tour. I'm feeling okay about it. We'll end it there. See you in the next one.